Welcome to the Smash series on the milking plant. I'm Noldy Rust, and today we're on the Sweeney farm with Dave Sweeney and Josh Wheeler from QCon. Today we're going to talk about how to identify the cause of a grading issue and how to fix it.
I mean, New Zealand dairy farmers are the most tested dairy farmers in the world, so you're going to have quality problems, you're going to have grades sometimes of the year. I suppose it's not a judgment on getting one grade or one or two, it's how you respond and get on top of it as quickly as possible. Yeah. And the key thing, I suppose, is what you're doing with a plant check. You know, if you're getting Bactos, coliforms, thermogerics, you're basically trying to do a plant check and you're trying to follow the milk from the cow, basically from the cluster, through to the vat, checking the key components. And there's some real key components that cause most of our grading. I mean, if you look at this cluster, 20% of our grades come from the cluster. Okay, it could be one cluster in 40. Okay, so you've got to find it. The next 40% of grading, especially in the thermogeric grades, comes from the milk line, and then about 20% of the grades come from the vat, because that has the longest contact time with milk. So if we start with the cluster, what you've got to understand is when we're harvesting milk, we've got air and fluid operating at the same time. So what you really want to do is check to make sure that the liners are cleaning properly and that the cluster bowl is clean. So the first thing you want to do, if you've got a try, you can check the inside, or you just rub your fingers around all the liner lips, and you want to go down all the clusters, checking all the liner lips, because once you find one not cleaning, this liner could be not getting water, and so that could be your grading problem. So after coming down, checking all the liner lips or putting a try up to make sure they're all cleaning, you know the insides are clean, and then you basically want to make sure that you haven't got a split liner, especially for coliforms and Bactos. So you'd just be going down and pulling each one off and just looking if any milk or fluid drops out. Okay, that tells you if there's any fluid in the air system. Once the air system's connected to the milk system, you can grade. The next part of that is just to open up each bowl, because the bowls are the things that could not be cleaning. So then you'll go through and open up each bowl, check inside. Is there any protein? Is there any milk soil? How clean is it? There'll always be a little bit of dirt around the seal, but you're just looking for milk soil, anything unclean. It's looking pretty clean, mate. Must have chosen one of the good ones.
Yeah, you scrubbed that one before we started.
Yeah.
All from the end, that's right. Yeah.
So the hardest job is actually going through and checking all these. So once you check the inside of the liners, the outside of the liners by pulling them up, open up the clusters, that's the main, most of the work done and the biggest componentry in terms of a lot of little things that can go wrong. The next big part's to get the milk line. And you can take off the end of the milk line down here, take it, put a torch in here and look down. But these 100mm lines are real deceiving. So you'll look down them and it'll look like they're clean because it's like a big mirror. So the easiest way to make sure that it's clean is just to brush it. If you're grading and in a grading situation, this is the biggest surface area of the milking machine. Put a brush down with a filter sock over it, some warm alkali, push it down and just see if any dirt comes out, because you want to make sure that milk line's clean. If the milk line's not clean, then you know you've got something wrong with your flushing pulsator or air injector. It's not forming a good enough slug during the wash to clean it, and you can get that serviced. When you get down to this part, receiver cans are pretty easy to inspect. Open each end. You can check the sanitary traps, receiver airline, anything that's coming through. There could be a few things there in terms of problems, but open up and have a look. When you get to this system here, you've got the intake line and I suppose a delivery line, and this is typical of a lot of farming systems. This is a connection between the sanitary trap and the receiver can, so tubing. You can see this is a bit old. You'll be checking this to make sure it's cleaning. And any other tubes that are connected to this, you just want to make sure they are getting wash water, because potentially if they're not getting wash water, they could cause a problem. So you want to check anything connected to the delivery line. And then in this case here, we've also got an air purge system, okay? So a simple way to check this air purge here is basically you can just open it up, pull the air purge off. What tends to happen with these, they cause us a lot of coliform grades, is basically, if we open it up and we just turn the air purge on now, and if milk comes out, we know that sometimes the air purge has been operated when there's milk flowing, so you're opening it and then milk's going one way and the other way. So you just always got to check the air purge, because that's chasing the last milk into the vat. So if it's not clean on the inside there, it can be a problem. Milk lift pumps, you've got diaphragm pumps you open up. You always get a bit scared about opening some of these. You've got centrifugal pumps. The key thing to know about this one, the centrifugal pump and the rotary lobe, is that they've pretty much got a propeller. They've got a mechanical seal. If the mechanical seal fails, then milk goes into the back of the head, and all you have to do is check the drain point underneath here. If you find milk in the back or in the drain point on these, then you know the mechanical seal's gone, and so you need to replace the mechanical seal, because milk will flow backwards and forwards. So they don't need to be opened up. You just need to check the back of the head to make sure no milk's dripping out. The diaphragm pumps, normally you'll be opening those up just to see what's going on inside them. Then from here, you're following the milk delivery line through to the vat. You know, in a sense, this is full flow. So this here, so once we've gone from the milk line where we've got air and fluid to this side, this is full flow. So the only times these get dirty is when there's a union leaking, old plastic unions or something like that we don't have many of now. So this is full flow. So the next component you'll be checking through there is just open up the filter cage, check that. You know, the plate cooler is always a risk, especially if you're not always washing with a filter on or having a filter on all the time. So you might just open the inlet and outlet if you're not comfortable opening it, and just look in the inlets and outlets to see if anything's hanging down.
Or split filter.
Split filter, or something's gone through, or you look in and you might see grass hanging down in the plate cooler, or there's a milk glove in there, something like that that's blocking it up, so then you know you need to open it. And then from there you hit the vat. Now the vat's got the biggest surface area. 60% of dairy farmers are on night collection, so they never see it during the day, and a big surface area and the longest contact time with milk. So, you know, sometimes you need to get a collection during the day and just make sure that vat's cleaning on the outside, and then put some good washes through, some good alkali washes.
So we used to always climb inside the vat with put a towel down and get the alkali and scrub the walls.
Yeah.
That's quite dangerous, eh?
It is quite dangerous. Confined space with a lot of chemical.
Can a vat washer with plenty of alkali do that?
Yeah, and the key thing, I suppose, is to go around, give it contact, give it time to do its job.
Yeah.
You know, everyone gets paranoid about the temperature dropping too quickly. So, you know, you're safe down to 55 degrees. You're actually safe down to 45 degrees before it redeposits. We give you a 10-degree margin. We say dump at 55, you still another 10 degrees. So, you know, one-off wash with a heavy alkali going round and round to give you a couple of, 6, 7, 8 minutes contact time will help clean that vat really well.
And as long as you've got a thermometer to check that you're dumping it before it gets down below 50, 55.
So once we hit 55, then we should be looking to dump. It'll still have a bit of time to pump out.
Yeah. And the other thing is some people put a bomb through every now and again, alkali. I don't know if you do that, Dave.
Yeah.
But I think, time to put a bomb through.
Yeah.
Does that, if we do everything else right, we probably don't need to do that? Would that be fair or
No,
not?
you don't. But sometimes there's something that might be hanging on one part of the milking machine that might knock off. But if everything else is working, typically a bomb wash is a heavy dose of alkali, to go through. You know, as long as the two washes you've got to really focus on, might be twice a week, the alkali, when you recycle the vat and recycle the plant, that's doing most of your work. Alkali gets rid of fat and protein, milk's full of fat and protein. Acid just gets rid of mineral and neutralises.
Cool, good. All right,
Cool.
Any more questions, Dave?
No.
Great free season next year then, eh?
Yeah, well.
First time ever, or...
Don't know about that. No, we always try and do our best. So, but it is, it's one of those hard things that when you do have an issue, it's just about knowing really where to look and where to go to find the problem. I guess one last question, Josh. If we're struggling to find the problem or the issue, I mean, who can we call to get help, and what what are the steps to go?
So typically with most dairy companies, they want you to get out of grading position. So in most of them, like Fonterra and even OCD, you can use the money you've lost to get professional help. So in case QCons comes out and we help solve grades, but again with milking machine companies, if you need that sort of stuff, you can get help. So the key thing is get help quickly. If you take a thermogenic grade, it's you get your milk collected today and it's going to be tested for thermogenics. It basically takes 4 days to get that result back to you. So, if you get to 5 days out and you've got a result and it's 2,000 and you're grading, you think, I think I've got this under control, and you have a look around and you go, yep, so that's the 5th of the month, and then you send the milk on the 6th, you'll be waiting to the 10th, okay, and then you go, Jesus, we're still grading, but then you've got another 4 days of grades to come. So the sooner you get help and get into it, the easier it's going to be, and the less it'll drag on.